Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's Ian from Peniglen Cabin Life. Good morning to everybody. Let me zoom in a bit with that. I'm about a mile off. Hold on. Here we are. That'll be better, I bet. Oh, flip-flop's gone. That's better. I can see you now. Like I say, welcome back to the channel. Good morning to everybody. It's a beautiful day today. Really nice and sunny, clear skies a lot, so I'm looking forward to getting some building work done today. It is a bit nippy, but it is early in the morning. Now I wanted to talk about if I could make changes to this place, what I'm doing, what would I change if I started again, if that makes sense. So what I would change is I would change the solar system I've got. If I was starting again from scratch and I was recommending to you how to do solar, then I'll be honest and I'll tell you that I've made a few mistakes with my solar. None of it's like a fire risk or anything like that, but I wish I'd done it different, and I'll tell you truthfully what I would do. Right on this side of the roof here, I've got all the solar panels on, haven't I? I've got 12 solar panels on the first two layers, and I've got one just here. Now the two layers of 6, they are just 100-watt panels each. Yeah, so technically that's 600 each row, isn't it? 600 watts. Now what I found out after I set it up is for every panel that you have, whatever wattage it is, when the sun's on it, it doesn't give you that full power. It only gives you a percentage of that, what you generate. So if they're a 100-watt panel, then you might get 90 watts out of it if it's on a really hot day, or you'll probably get 80 odd. Right? Now, when you've got a lot of smaller panels, then you're losing a lot of power because there's so many. But if you've got slightly bigger panels that are double the strength, then obviously you're not losing as much power. So what I wish I'd done is, like I said, these are 100, and then all the ones on the kennel roof, they're all 160-watt panels, and these panels are on the log stores here, they're 100-watt panels as well. Now what I wish I'd done is I wish that I'd got 160-watt panels on the first two rows on here. Now I wish I'd done that. So if there's anybody watching this, then I wouldn't buy, truthfully, the 100-watt panels and do what I've done. I would get 160-watt panels and build it up, and I would do that. Now what I'd also do is, in the cabin where my solar system is, I've wired it up quite uniquely but it made sense how I did it, because I study things when I do things. So what I've done is I've connected control panels together going into the battery. Now I've split it into two big systems. So what I wish I'd done, quiet, what I wish I'd done is I wish I'd bought one big control panel and I wired them all into the control panel instead of having little ones. So really what I've got in there is 6 control panels split into 2, so obviously 3 and 3. Now the top 3 control the power going in the bottom batteries, which is 6 batteries at the bottom. Now I wish also I had upgraded and bought stronger batteries. Now the batteries I've got are leisure batteries, and they're also only 120 amp hour batteries, so they're not that massively strong batteries. Now the problem the batteries I've got is a lead acid, which means you can only draw out half the power with lead acid compared to lithium. So if I've got 120 amp hour batteries with acid, then that means I could only pull out roughly 60 amp hours out of each battery. So to put that in comparison, when the solar panels that I've already bought to go on this roof, now each panel is 235 watt panels, so like the massive panels compared to these strength wise. Now I'm going to put some lead acid batteries in the loft compartment in this. Now they're going to be 48 volt batteries, but they're going to be 600 amp hour batteries each, which means I can pull 300 amp hours off each battery. So it's a lot more power, and the batteries won't be that much bigger than what they are. Now, yes, they're dearer, but to be absolutely honest with you, I wish I'd done that, because the batteries that are in there, like I've said, the bottom 6, they're 120 amp power, and the top ones, there's only 4 batteries, and they're only 110 amp hour. So you can see where I've gone wrong with that. So I wish that I'd done that. So I wish, like I say, I'd got stronger panels, and I wish that I'd got one big inverter control panel instead of smaller ones, and I wish I'd got stronger batteries. Now, I don't want you to look at it that I'm saying, oh, I failed on the system I've done. I've not. It gives me enough power for what I need. I'm not making that up. What I've done, the way I've set it up, it does work. I never have any issues with it. I'm never really doing maintenance on it or anything. It always works fine. And the batteries, even though they're only the power they are, it's giving me enough power for what I need. So the bottom 6 batteries, they continuously power me eco fridge and me low powered freezer, and it also powers me washing machine during the day when it's a nice day like this. Now that comfortably does that nearly all year round. The only time that it struggles is when it's in dark winter, where there's not a lot of light, and sometimes the alarms will be going off, say like 3-4 in the morning, saying it's run out of power. So I just literally turn it off. The freezers are full of ice anyway, so I turn it off, and then as the sun comes up, or it's a bright sky, I turn it back on, and it just kicks back in and everything's fine. So I do that. But the ones with only 4 batteries, really all that powers is my record player, my radio, my iPad, my internet router, and my Amazon show. Plus it uses a bit of power on all the little Wi-Fi sockets I've got all over that I speak to that Amazon show, and I just say computer turn on such a light, and it also powers my robotic Hoover as well. My mates can't believe I've got a robotic Hoover. So I've actually got a second one, and it's going to be for this extension here. So I've got that boxed up ready. So, but these solar panels, going back to that, is I bought them on Amazon when it was Prime Day, because they had a really good offer on them. So every single battery, every single solar panel I've got, I bought through the Amazon, and it was a lot cheaper. But I recommend to people, if you are starting up and you are wanting to go off grid and get solar, I would definitely recommend buying a minimum of 160 watt panels. I definitely recommend you getting turbines, like I've got these 2 turbines, because they do generate quite a lot of power when it's windy. And I've found that where I live, if it's not like a bright sky and a sunny day like it is now, then obviously the solar panels are charging. My panels now are charging up, and it's only, let's see what time it is, it's 6:30 in the morning, and they're already, I've got an itchy nose, they're already charging up. So, but what you find is when you haven't got nice weather like this, there's nearly always a good breeze, and with the good breeze, obviously the turbines are going around and generating power. So I would recommend both of them. Now there's a few different kinds of turbines you can get. You can get, like, I don't know the actual words of them, what they're called, but you can get them where they're just like a rigid one in one direction, and they obviously generate power. Or you can have it that it rotates to where the wind is and then works, which is what these are. Or you can get, I think it's vertical ones, where it's just like small ones and they go around like that. You know, like you used to see, they had a spell in the 90s where on all the street corners with the shops, you used to have them vertical ones that used to go around like advertising boards. I forget what they've been called, but you can get them as well. I am thinking of getting a few more of them long term. I might stick them at the back of the cabin. Now, where this wind turbine is here, well, with this extension that I'm building here as well, that's going to have to be moved and go to the back of the cabin. So, because I can't put this structure up here without that gone. Now, the other thing that I would change is where this extension is concerned and this extension is concerned, I've got all my timbers in already. Now, what I did was I sat down and I worked out what I wanted, but I made a mistake. The thing that I made a mistake was the wood that I've made the internal frame with was 3x2, which I don't regret doing. But what I do regret doing was I bought the expensive where it's a proper finish on it, because what my original plan was, I was going to have it with just the skin on the outside, that's it. But what I should have done to save money is I should have got 3x2 rough cut, because I'm putting these boards on the inside as well, sorry love, on the insides as well, then you're not going to see that frame. It's going to be covered, so it's just going to look like a log cabin. So I've paid a lot more money, because I've had like 3 deliveries of the actual 3x2s to build it all, and I've got the 3x2 to build this as well. So what I really do recommend to people who's doing this is don't buy the proper fancy finish on it where it's nice. I would, you know what I mean, what I would do is buy rough cut, because it's a lot cheaper than rough cut. So if I do need to buy any more timber to finish this section, then I will be buying rough cut. So that's a recommendation to you as well. Now what I would recommend is I've got my wood and the roofing and everything from Jewson's. Now I don't get no sponsorship from Jewson's, but I do like Jewson's. I think they're very good. They're good delivery, it is good products when it comes, and also if there's anything slightly wrong with it when it comes, then they come straight out and replace it. So I would recommend Jewson's actually for people. Now what I would also say is the damp proof course I've got with the plastic, when I ordered it I thought I would need quite a bit, because I presumed it would be just, well, about 4 foot high, and it would just do one couple of, you know, like one roll would go all the way around. Well, I ordered 3 rolls of it. Now it cost me about £30 odd a roll, £30–40 a roll, and when I've undone it all to fit it, I've actually, inside here now, I've got a big pile of plastic and I've still got 2 full rolls left. So they'll come in handy for the other structures I put up, but I wish I'd just bought 1 pack, so I've learnt from that as well. So what else would I change? I tell you what else I would change, and you'll laugh at me for this. You know these tiny suitcase solar panels I've got? Now them 2 smaller ones and another one I've got, they're only 50-watt panels, so they're 25 watt each side. And to be honest with you, they don't produce a lot of power. Now with them, underneath here, I've got 1 small battery. Now that's only 80 amp hour battery. So remember, that means I can only take 40 amp hours off it. Now I had that spare anyway. I didn't buy that in, I had that spare. So I've connected these solar panels on this 100-watt one as well. This is 100 watt. I've connected these to that battery, and it goes to a small inverter inside as well. Now, as you know, inside I have them light bulbs hanging down that puts a AA battery in. So what I do is, obviously like now, each one of them has got a battery in, so it's producing light. So I've got another set of batteries that will totally replace them every day, and then obviously switch back again. So like now the sun's coming up, I'll turn on that inverter in there, and these smaller panels will charge up them batteries, because they're pretty strong batteries. So they will charge them up, but really, in hindsight, I wish I'd bought them, because they're not really worth the money. So what I would say to you is, if you are going to buy a suitcase, because they call them a suitcase solar panel, then really I recommend that you don't get any less than 100 watt like this one. But I would recommend, you can get like 200 watts, 300 watt, I would recommend them. Now what I would also recommend is I will get them with a solid frame on as well, because you can get some that are just like a hard plastic, and you just lean them up against the side, or you put the legs out on them. Well, the problem with them, I've got a friend that's got one of them, and when the wind comes, it just blows it straight over. Now these never blow over. Now we've had really bad winds here, and it's never moved them, the wind or anything, because they're a solid structure. So I would go with them. Now all these suitcase panels I've got, these are all eco-worthy ones. So if you go onto Amazon, which I buy everything off Amazon because I have Amazon Prime and it's next day delivery. So even with solar panels, it's next day delivery. So I would recommend, so if I were you, I would go, if you are thinking of just having a small system at first, then I would recommend that you try the suitcase ones first, because you get a control panel in it already. So all you'd have to buy is a battery, cable and an inverter, and you can pick up a cheap inverter. The inverter, tiny one I've got in there that runs these, only cost me 50 odd pound. It were really cheap. It's only small. It's got a USB port and one plug on it, and it powers everything I need that way that I need to do. Now, like I say, you can get it off Amazon, and I'm going to say it again because it's absolutely true. They're called eco-worthy, and I do recommend them. I really do. And a lot of these panels I've got are eco-worthy as well. They're a really good make. They're not expensive, and I don't get no commission. I don't get anything like that for saying it. It's just my observation from doing what I do that I recommend them. So that's that really. So that's a little plug for them. That. So that's about it really. What I would change. I think what I would change as well. I've got my coal bunkers, and originally I didn't have any coal, and last winter when it was really bad, I run out of wood, my supplies, and I had no coal, and I did go through that period where I had no heating. I nearly got pneumonia job. I was freezing. I got really bad with my chest, and in the end I had to buy some wood in and some coal in. So what I would say to you is, if it's your first winter this year that you're going to go off grid, I will get a couple of coal bunkers. I've got 2 coal bunkers. Now I bought one that I already had, the other one I got off the coal man, because all the coal man, they always have bunkers that they're selling. So I think it cost me 60 quid for another bunker, and I've got them both full up with coal, and then in my log stores I've got some sacks of coal in there as well. And I would recommend to you that nearly all year, if you're doing building work on your property that you're doing and everything, and your cabin and all that, then what I would say to you is make 2 days a week at least, a minimum, that you go and cut wood. Because like now, for me doing my cooking, I've got my stove, so obviously if I need to cook, I've got to get the wood for it to heat it up. So it's not a case of, oh well, it's winter, so you'll need your wood to cover you for winter. Well, if you think about it, you're going to be cooking in summer, aren't you? So you cook all year round, so you need a continuous supply of wood. You don't really want to be in a position where you're buying this wood in. So you need to cut your own wood if you can, if you've got your own woodland. Another little tip for you, the best woods to cut obviously are oak, because that'll go red hot. And also, if you've got any rhododendrons that needs clearing, I know they're not so thick a rhododendron, but chop them up into small bits, get them in the fire, and it'll just go red hot with the rhododendrons. They go it's really good. It's like rocket fuel when it really heats your room up fast, that. So I would, like I say, get everything in, get your food supplies in. I'm lucky that I can get the Asda delivery now, so the Asda comes. So try and get as many tins in as I can to build up my stocks. So I am going to be growing veg, and I'm going to have some chickens. So I'm going to be self-sufficient with the eggs and everything. So yeah, so that's what I would change. That's what I would change. So listen, I'll leave you in peace. I'm sorry I've been rabbiting on. It's just nice to have the company, because I know I'm sat in your house with you having a natter with you. Right, listen, I'm only kidding on. Right, you stay safe, you stay well, and remember, don't ever forget, dinky-doo. Stay safe, stay well. I'll see you tomorrow, back down at the cabin.